Andretti's move to F1 seems to be dead in the water, but is that a good or bad thing for IndyCar? Let's discuss.
Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is Indy Fanatics, your home for IndyCar content with weekly podcasts and feature videos.
Welcome back to the channel and to a new series on the channel. And we have very imaginatively come up with the name. It took hours, and then the light bulb hit. We have the IndyCar podcast. Why don't, in a show that we're looking to debate topics, new and old, relevant, and maybe rivalries or something like that.
We're going to go relevant, irrelevant.
Irrelevant, good, bad, sad, happy, across that. Discussing all sorts, we'll call it the IndyCar Debates.
Excellent.
What a name.
We've really pushed the boat out here.
Yes. Yeah. We are also open to name suggestions for the series from the fans. So you can have your chance in the comments to have your impact on the channel and naming their show because, yeah, we're going to be discussing topics. The feature videos take a long time to edit. So the feature videos won't be as regular, but hopefully when they do come out, they'll be really good just because I think time-wise and balancing work gives me a little bit more time to focus through there. And these are just kind of, we discuss a topic, we give our thoughts, throw it over to you in the comments. Nice kind of short and simple video, and you guys get regular IndyCar content. And hopefully we can have great chats during this long post-season break.
So what's the topic today?
The topic today, as said in the intro there, is looking at Andretti and their move to F1 that, well, it hasn't materialised, at least for the time being. It may obviously come out in the future, but Stephen, what are your thoughts? Are they good or bad for IndyCar, this move falling through?
Well, there's many layers to this, I feel. Lots of points and counterpoints. And so I have no clear indication at the moment. My positives for IndyCar is the fact that they're one of the strongest teams in the series, can consolidate their resources, knowledge base, driver talent in IndyCar still. I know they've got other things going. I think they're in the Extreme E. Are they in
they're in Formula E. They're also in Aussie Supercars, I believe.
Well, obviously F1 is mega, and it would take up a lot of, I know they'd have a separate team and all that but I just feel like it would still drag away some of the attention for IndyCar. And Andretti just haven't challenged for quite a long time now. Colton Herta got 3 wins last season and was never really in title contention. And they just need to get their act together. They don't need to start buying new toys around the world.
And also they're so close to getting it right with Colton and IndyCar. They're so close because they dominated the back end of the season. So if they take that momentum into 2022, I mean, we could be looking at an Indy 500 and championship win for Colton next year. He could blitz it.
I just want them to go, IndyCar, we're pretty good at this. Let's actually just focus on it and try to win it. Rather than go, ooh, F1!
Shiny! Shiny! Go for the shiny!
Yeah, so that's kind of my positive for IndyCar and kind of Andretti as well. My negative is if Andretti moved to F1, not moved, just got a team in F1, it just brings more attention, I feel, back to IndyCar. Like we've seen with McLaren going across to IndyCar, it's brought a lot of eyes, a lot of attention, driver links between Pato doing F1 tests and whatnot.
And McLaren fans have become IndyCar fans.
Exactly.
Through a link through there. So then Andretti fans would support Andretti in both F1 and IndyCar, in theory, essentially growing the fan base in both sports.
And that is where we build The bridge.
The bridge.
But bridge isn't. It's like a bridge across the river, and they go up when a boat comes by.
Yes.
At the moment, the bridge is up.
Okay.
Because there's a boat going through.
We need to get rid of that boat.
Yeah. So, and then the bridge can be connected.
And that boat at the moment is the financial constraints, isn't it? Because having done a little bit more research into it, Alfa Romeo Sauber are actually in a really good financial position. They do not need to sell. So obviously the F1 has introduced a budget cap because Mercedes and Ferrari were getting out of hand basically. And 145 million is going to be the budget cap for 2022. And Alfa Romeo Sauber have that. They have that budget. They will have the full budget there. Obviously, outside of that, there's a few tweaks. I think it's the top 3 personnel within the team's salaries aren't included within that. So I presume like team principals, top driver, maybe both drivers, depending on what it is. But yeah, look, 145 million basically is going to allow them to compete on a fairly level playing field from there. And also it's having almost like a NFL draft system style where the bottom teams get the first picks in the draft, I believe. So it kind of looks to not allow one team to dominate so much, which is why New England Patriots were pretty impressive for years. They get like first dibs on the top draft picks.
Why are we talking about NFL?
Look.
I thought my bridge was out there.
It's coming round. So you get wind tunnel time. If you finish lower down, you get more wind tunnel time than if you finished higher up. So I think that also is playing into Alfa Romeo Sauber. Basically, Andretti were going to probably have to overpay or stretch to kind of make Sauber move because they're like, you want us. We don't necessarily want you type of thing. We're okay. We're sound financially. And so that would have, again, building on your point of Andretti consolidating resources, they probably would have had to overstretch, and Michael's focus, probably as we see Zach Brown more on the wall in F1 than we do over Aaron McLaren SP in IndyCar, would we see Michael Andretti more on the wall in F1 as the calendar expands to pretty much the full year than we would see him on the IndyCar one? And so, yeah, that split drops there. So that's where it would have been, I think, bad for IndyCar and bad for Andretti. Good for IndyCar, like we said, keep one of their top talents, consolidate with Colton Herta, like I said, potential of winning a championship, potential of winning an Indy 500. If you are looking to grow your reputation as a series, obviously there are plenty of top talents attracted. We're now attracting feeder series talents like Lundgaard and Eilert to the series, and more rumoured, and Nico Hulkenberg potentially coming in. Roman Grosjean came across as well. Stoffel Van Dorn rumoured to be having a test as well. Guys who are there, but then that leads to the argument of F1 rejects, or just, guys who weren't good enough to make it. So IndyCar's second rate. And we believe, driver-wise, the top drivers in the series are getting pretty close now. Like, both have, there are really top drivers in F1. There are really top guys in IndyCar. F1 is the pinnacle of motorsports in terms of that technology. The cars are clearly the fastest in the world. Everything around F1, the global franchise and what it does, that is the pinnacle of motorsport. That's where the most eyes are in the motorsport world, for sure. But that doesn't take away the talent from there. And what is a negative is, if Colton had gone, your bridge for F1, it would have been able to show American talent, because I think Colton would have showed what he's got. And we know he's really good. And also F1 guys, fast qualifiers tend to do well in F1. And if there's one thing that Colton's good at is, well, he's good at a lot of things. But if there's
he's only
one
good
thing
at one
in particular,
thing.
qualifying, he's up there. I mean, the Nashville qualifying, where he was a second clear of the field, that shows special talent. Absolutely. So that's a shame in that basis. For IndyCar in its global brand, it is probably still looked at, well, you're still only getting the rejects, or people might have twisted it, your top talent is still leaving for F1. But like you said, I think it would have been the bridge, bringing more eyes to the series and gone, wow, that guy was an IndyCar and still didn't win the championship. Wow, there's some great drivers in that series. who could compete in F1 from that. So I think it was positive in there. So good or bad? You got to say mainly as a whole, it's good for IndyCar, haven't you? Main team consolidates all its efforts to focusing and building in there. Colton Herta stays in the series. I'm sad for Colton because I know he wants to race in F1. So that's disappointing on a personal level. But will the opportunity come? I think if he goes and wins the championship or Indy 500 or both in the next couple of seasons, I think someone across, because he is highly thought of, will give him a shot in F1, whether it's Andretti backed or not.
Yeah.
But Michael Andretti doesn't believe an American will get a fair shot if it isn't with him.
Oh.
So interesting topic there. But yeah, bad, just not the global recognition, I suppose. And no, the bridge is up. The bridge is not down, the bridge is up. Any closing thoughts on you before we hand it over to these guys?
No, I have to agree. It's a positive for IndyCar that it hasn't happened. I know it's quite a selfish, I guess, a selfish view, because you're just like, I want to keep everything in IndyCar. Don't go messing around with F1 and Andretti. But then he has points to prove over there. He wants American talent. Colton wants to drive over there. So, but just looking at the series going for IndyCar, I think it's a good thing that it hasn't happened this year.
Yeah. And as IndyCar continues to grow and get better and better, I think the move later down the line would probably make more sense. But right now, in keeping IndyCar there, and it means that then Andretti look like they might have a stacked lineup with the potential of, well, I think Devin De Francesco is going to be in that 29 Honda. We've got Colton Herta in the 26, Rossi in the 27, Grosjean in the 28, and then potentially Carl Kirkwood also being within the team. That is an insane lineup for a team next year, which would be crazy. And if they went to F1, they would, well, Kyle would have come into the 26 seat, which great American talent there. But why can't we have both? And we could have both.
Could.
Which, as IndyCar fans, is exciting. But global motorsports, I feel like it's a missed opportunity. Go from there. But that is what we think. What do you guys think? Good or bad thing for IndyCar? What are the many layers to you? Do you have more layers to add to our layers, or take away some of our layers? And
don't do that.
No.
I built those layers.
Sorry.
Don't you take hands off my layers.
Okay. I'm sorry. And also let us know if you like this idea of a series. I mean, because if you don't, I guess it'll be a short thing. But we think it's quite a good way of getting some regular content to you guys and having some interesting discussions through this closed season. But if you're new around here or haven't done so already and have enjoyed the debate and enjoying to get involved in the debate in the comments, what can they do, Stephen?
They can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it! So for now, you Indy fans, keep racing!